Hi, beautiful ones. It's been a minute. I haven't been on for a while, but I thought I should get on. Basically, Source has been wanting me to get on, but I've just been doing other things, working on my own journey and my own inner healing. But I this is basically for people that are on the journey, that have been on the journey for a while, that are maybe in a place of being stuck, which we all get stuck every once in a while. I have posted that I'd like people to send me an email of anything where you feel like you haven't gotten something resolved. A lot of times you can get it resolved on your own, but if you get stuck anywhere, send me something, email, and I'll try to address it. Otherwise, I'm just randomly going to pick subjects that I think would be helpful. This one subject in particular is going to be anger, because I think we all go through that. When we first awaken, we are pissed. Basically, we see a lot of lies, see a lot of things that have happened to us, and then we go through our healing, and we go through trying to be transparent, trying to get real with ourselves, going within and working on ourselves and our own inner healing, our own inner child. And then what happens is you end up running into people that aren't awakened, and of course they trigger you, or they'll say something to you that will piss you off, or do something to you, or even violate you in some way or other. And it's so easy to, yeah, many of us walk away. We know that's what we're supposed to do, is walk away if somebody irritates us. But not just walk away, walk away with a forgiving heart. It's so easy to walk away and still have that grudge, have that thing inside of you, that catch, when you think about them, or when you see them, and you're just still pissed. And basically, it's not really a place of where we can get true freedom, because it's the one thing that we realize, that person hurt me, really bad, and they, violated, they violated my boundaries, and they took advantage of my innocence. They took advantage of my awakeness and my relationship with Source, knowing, that my approach is to try to be one of purity. And so what happens is we have this thing inside of us, even though we want to get rid of it, and it's really difficult, and it's anger. It's one of the hardest things, I think, that, we all will go through. And I think the the best way to deal with it, that I have found to deal with it, is to continue doing your own inner work. Keep working on yourself, and quit looking on the outside of what you have expectations of what other people should be doing, or because people are just people, and they're where they're at, and unconditional love is allowing them to be where they're at, even if it's in an ugly place that maybe you don't agree with. So the anger that's inside of you is what you have to deal with. And I think the most transparent place you can get to is realizing that you were one of those people once upon a time, and getting real with yourself, and realizing that you held hostility like that, and how hard it was for you to let go, and how far you have come to let go. And it's having compassion. It's seeing them out of Source's eyes, basically, because Source doesn't see them with pity as much as Source sees them they're just in a different state of mind, and Source sees them whole and complete. And I think that's what helps to give them space, is to see them healthy, to see them the way Source sees them. Because in my reality, basically, I live in non-duality, where nothing is right or wrong, nothing is good or bad. And what happens is in the 3D reality, there's such a, it's a duality consciousness, and we see this is right and this is wrong, and they did this wrong, and this is what should have been done. And there's such a contrast, which is beautiful. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's a completely different reality. And when you get to a state consciously of non-duality, you realize that everything is perfect, because without that contrast, you wouldn't understand yourself better, and you wouldn't know those areas in your own life that you need to work on, to be able to become more one with everything in order to rise above. So it is difficult. Anger is almost the same as killing, really. Because when you hold someone in a state of anger and unforgiveness, you're not allowing them growth. You're not allowing them the possibility of becoming a better person, becoming something that would be more complete and more wholesome in their own personal energy. People that are hostile, people that react with an energetic frequency that is one of what duality considers hostility, is really in a trap, their own trap. And so if you're on the journey of freedom, true freedom for yourself, it is basically giving them the space, not just walking away, but giving them the space to change, loving them unconditionally, and realizing you were like that once upon a time. And so, I encourage you. There's so many things that have been, we've been violated, and we have been abused. And it is true, the way it was said in the holy texts is, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And it's really comes down to that, is until we rise above it, we do become, I guess, sort of a sacrifice. But once we rise above it, it's not a sacrifice anymore. It's a liberty. We become liberated from it. And there's nothing they can do to hurt you anymore, because you're not of that consciousness anymore of being able to be hurt. It's just one of love. So I hope that helps. I would like to hear from many of you that would need advice or have a question, and maybe I can counsel with Source about it, and give some kind of an answer that would be helpful. There's so many beautiful speakers out there already giving great advice and moving forward in this journey of becoming a whole, in a complete society, civilization, not just in one area, but in the whole world, where we can all work together as one unit. And I mean, that really is the vision for all of us to get along, to love one another, help one another. I want to kind of expound a little bit on unconditional love, because that's really what this is all about. And why is unconditional love so important? Because if we don't build on unconditional love, everything we do will crumble again, just like it has. And we've been doing this time and time and time again, and nothing has been stable under us. If you don't have a good foundation, everything you do will fall apart. And it's critical that we build on unconditional love. And what is unconditional love? It's saying you can be who you are and I'll love you no matter what. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to accept what they do as your own personal, ideals. But if somebody believes in something different than you believe, you give them the space. Give them the space to do that, because we're all different. And that's what's so beautiful about all of it, is the colors of the rainbow. And if all the colors of the rainbow were the same color, it would be a very boring rainbow. But since we're all different and we all have different colors and different shades and the way we look at things and perspectives, we all can learn from one another. We can all grow and expand, and that's what it's about. It's not about, I know we all go through that point that we just hate the world and we don't want to be here anymore, and let's just take me home. Let's just get out of here. And we've all been there. But the whole idea of why we came here is to enjoy. We're the only planet in the solar system that has this abundance. We have air we breathe. We have trees. We have food we eat here. No other planet has that. We have rivers. We have waterfalls. We have birds in the air. We have livestock and we have wildlife, and it's beautiful. All that we have and to enjoy, and rivers. And all the things we do, and all the things we get to play and enjoy, the amusement parks and the different things that we all love to do, dancing and music, which is untangible, but it's the vibration of music is one of the most beautiful things we have. But you go to other planets, you go to other places in the solar system, and they have nothing. And this really was Eden. This was Eden once upon a time, and we fell from grace consciously. Consciously we fell, and we got stuck into the materialism of it here, thinking this is it, this is all that there is, but it's so much more than that. Our imagination is what creates everything. Our imagination created the wheel, it created the skyscrapers, it created pretty much everything materially that we see, the architecture, the cars, clothes, fashion, shoes. It's all imagination. And so the imagination is a wonderful thing. And when we were young, we had a great imagination. And then when we got older, they said, put the childish stuff away. But that's really the greatest gift we have, is our imagination. That's how we can expand and we can grow. I think about, there's so many things, and I wrote a book, and I guess you saw that. I posted that. I finally got it done, and I posted it, and it's called Freeing Lilith, and it's an ebook right now. And you can go on my I believe it's my Twitter, and I probably have it on my Instagram. Those are the only two platforms I'm on right now. But you can go on that. I think it's $3.69, or in dollars, or I also think in euros. But And it's only in English right now, but I'm looking into getting it translated into other languages, and then I'd like to, maybe get it into an actual book format. But right now, it's just on Kindle. I'd love for you to read it. It's got some great information in it, of my personal journey that I think will help and maybe encourage and inspire you. Um, but again, a lot of it's just my own personal experiences and things that I went through, um, and my relationship with Source, and the connection that I've had. But many of us have had a lot of the same types of experiences, but we're too afraid to talk about them because of being ridiculed or laughed at. And Source just kept telling me, I want you to write this book. I want you to write this book. So I just started on my phone, which was crazy, trying to type on a little tiny phone, but I did it. But anyways, I finally got a laptop and was able to transfer it all and really finish it out. So anyways, I hope you can you know, uh, get a hold of it and hopefully read it. But there's a lot of information in there about what I'm going to be speaking about with unconditional love and how important it is. Unconditional love will repair everything. And I know a lot of the government systems probably don't want to repair things. Maybe they do. Maybe they're just in the dark and they're just at a loss of how to do it. But it's all by energy. It's all by vibration. And unconditional love will heal the planet. It'll heal our financial issues. It'll heal our health. It'll heal disease. It'll heal the poverty situation. It'll heal everything because it's vibrational. It's a frequency. It's completely different than what we're used to doing. We're used to going out and manually, boots on the ground, let's go fix this thing, but it's not a physical repair that we need. We need a spiritual repair. We need to go inside. Each of us needs to do this journey. And it's not going to be easy for everybody, and I know many of you won't even sign up for it, maybe. I mean, the hopes of the Galactus is that everybody will sign on and everybody will get on board with this, because we really don't want to see anybody go through pain, because as the frequency rises, the ones that haven't rose will go through pain, because it's like listening to a radio station that's not in tune anymore, and it's just static, and you've broken off communication. And so things are going to be changing, and they already are changing rapidly. There's many, many, many of you that are on board, some are just now awakening. And there are many of you that are awakening that will either accept it or reject it. And it's your free will choice to decide which way you'll go. And there really is no right or wrong way. It's all up to your own personal choice, basically. But really, there's only two choices. It's pain or joy. And it's really by how you think. I mean, you can look at a situation and think of how awful it is, and you'll create more of how awful it is. Or you can look at a situation and think, the good that can come out of it. And I always use this example with COVID. COVID was something, I never looked at COVID as something being bad. I just never did. I don't know why. It just never even hit my mind as something to be fearful about. When I first heard about it, I was already going through my awakening. I was awake, and I was already going through a lot of changes. And I think what the first thought I had is, Source, what are you doing now, And what happened is I was really unaffected by it. And what happened was it just made everybody close in into their own apartments or their own homes and not be able to, it would just cut everybody off from everybody, and it made us all look at ourselves. It made us all focus on who we are and what we're doing and what makes us happy. And it was all different for everybody, but basically when we got cut off from one another, we got cut off from the distraction. And in that alone time is when Source came in and was opening doors and visiting people, and we were realizing how miserable, some of us were realizing how miserable we were in our present experience on Earth, and how could there be more, and what are we doing here, and just questions started rising in many of your minds. But there's so much to talk about, and there's so much to share. But even just in COVID was a great shakening for everybody. It woke people up, but it was meant for everybody to be fearful about. But Source turned it around for the good. So I just really encourage you to just look at things with a new perspective. Look at things that you would call negative in a different light, and see the goodness that can come out of it. Out of every mistake we've learned something good. It's always come out of a mistake of some kind. There are no mistakes. The only mistake I think there is the one where we fall down and we don't get back up, where we fall down, we stay down, and we go down that dark hole of depression and despair, and we create our own demise, of misery, instead of constantly reaching up and looking forward and looking up and anticipating hope. Usually when you get to a place like that, it's really a good idea to start drawing. Even if you don't draw, it's a good idea just to get a pencil and paper out, or even some colored pens, and get yourself a piece of paper and just start scribbling and seeing what you can create in this depression that you find yourself in. And these are probably for those that are just now waking up, because we're all at different stages, and there's different ways of approaching this thing in different stages. When you first wake up, the main thing is to stay to yourself, heal yourself, take care of yourself, not just psychically and mentally, but also physically. Go on walks, get out in nature, sing, put on good music, dance, eat right, up your water. That's another thing I want to talk about, is a lot of people think, oh, now I have to be really good. Well, that's not even the key. There's nothing about being good. It's about loving yourself unconditionally. When you love yourself unconditionally, then things naturally fall away in due time. It's not like, okay, now I got to quit smoking, and I got to quit drinking, and I got to quit cussing, and I got to quit doing this. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is love yourself, and love yourself unconditionally. And screw what anybody else thinks, because all that really matters is what makes you happy. And it sounds selfish, and it is in the eyes of the old thinking and the old, programming, a selfish way to approach it. But the reason why it's that way is because it's a way out, and we've been taught differently. We've been taught that you have to, do all these good things, and it all becomes phony, and it all becomes hypocritical, and it's not really what we've never been successful at it. the whole religious spiel of all the things you can't do this and this and this anymore. Well, that's really not the truth. The truth is just to love yourself unconditionally, all the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then once you go through your healing, you start to really, and the main thing is you get really transparent. You start to really get vulnerable, and you start to see yourself in a whole new light. And then things that need to fall away will fall away naturally. It's not like a struggle. It's like so many people, I got to take the smoking patch, and I got to do this and that. It's not like that at all. It's like you get to a point where it just doesn't do anything for you anymore, and it falls away naturally. It's not a big struggle. So you don't have to push anything away. I really encourage that, because that makes it so much easier than trying to fight with the shadow part of you. Shadow, you will never be able to get completely rid of shadow, because that's what really makes life so beautiful. Sometimes people think shadow is that evil thing that lives under our bed or down these dark alleyways, and it's not anything like that at all. Shadow is the part of us that we hide, the part of us we don't want anybody to see. The part of us that lies, the part of us that doesn't tell the truth, whatever it is. And once we can be vulnerable with it and honest with it within ourselves, then we understand it so much more. Shadow is even part of what you call, I call God's source, because it's a universal name for me. It becomes all the names. That's at least in my own heart. But whatever label you want to put on God, God does have a shadow side, because how would you know light without dark? You would not ever know. You would not ever understand what it was. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know it was light. You wouldn't know if you didn't know that there was a dark. You wouldn't know. So, but it's different. It's different than what we've been taught. We've been taught that dark is evil, or dark is a wrong and it's negative, but it's really just an energy. Dark is like sandpaper, sandpaper grating against something. It's an abrasive action that actually makes something smooth. Or it's the hammer that hits the nail on the head. It's this loud abrasive noise, but it's creating something. Or you can take hammer and hit someone in the head and kill them, but we have control over this thing. It doesn't control us. For many years, we were never taught that, and so we would just fly off the handle, and we would just let our shadow part take us over, through worry, through doubt, through all the negative things we say. Oh, that's not going to happen, or that'll all the good stuff that we hear. You say, oh, that'll never happen. Those are negative, and those are shadow parts of us. But once you realize that you have control over those thoughts and you have control over those emotions, you realize that shadow is just a part of us. What happened is we never had shadow in the beginning. Shadow was there, but in non-duality, we never saw it. It was just there, but it wasn't something that ever possessed us or was ever a problem. It was part of just creation. And then what happened is when the fall happened, when we fell from grace, when we fell and what you call original sin actually set in, then shadow took over. Shadow became very prominent, and we became very aware of this dark thing, this darkness in our life. But in non-duality, you don't see it. Like for me, there's no death. I don't see death anymore. I mean, I see these commercials where they have these babies, all curled up and they're dying from, I don't see that. I don't see that. I don't see any of that. I see a healthy child. It's the light in their eyes will always be there. It's just this material part of us is just what it is. There's nothing in this world that lasts forever. Nothing. The table, the cars, the the houses, everything falls apart in this world materially. But our spirits are forever. The spark in our eyes is forever. The light in our heart is forever. And that is what we're getting back to, is to that truth. And it's not that we want to deny the enjoyment of being here on planet Earth. We came here to enjoy planet Earth. We came here to take in the pleasures, take in the food and the smell and the touch and the lovemaking and the just all of it, the fires and the fireplaces and staying warm and all of it. But we didn't come to worship it. We came to just enjoy it. It's just here for a season. It's not here, and this is the final scope of things. There's so much more. And so what happened is many people just started worshiping materialism. That this is the final it. This is all we are, and it's not just all we are. That's why I have to laugh when they say, "Oh, the budget is this." There is no budget. No, really, it's all in your mind. It's something man created as being this is the ultimate thing, and now we all got to worry. And it's like, look, you're spending billions of dollars on votes, billions of dollars on congressional, parties and inauguration events, and spending billions of dollars on war efforts, and yet you're telling the main civilization that, oh, there's not enough food to go around. There's not enough money for, paychecks for the city workers, or for, oh, we have to cut pensions, or we have to cut Social Security. It's all a lie. It's just all just a game to keep people under control. And they probably don't like me saying that, but they're even being kept under control. That's the craziest thing, is they think that they're free and they're raking in all the goods, but they're probably the most lost, because they think that they're the ones in control when they're not in control. There's something bigger than them in control. So my main word is to everybody to just relax. Enjoy what we have. There's an abundance everywhere. There's more than enough money everywhere. There is no budget. There is no, I don't know what you call it, only in the eyes of man, only in the eyes of greedy man is there, but there's plenty for everybody. There's plenty for everybody. We've just became a materially, that's what we idol worship. We idol worship this stuff, and this stuff is just stuff. And it's to be enjoyed. It's not that I don't enjoy it. I enjoy everything I have. I enjoy all the plenitude around me. I even enjoy, people that, maybe aren't always happy. I just love them. I just love them anyways. They're not happy because they're still stuck. They're still stuck in an old mind frame. But I believe they'll get unstuck. I believe they'll find their freedom, because that's the direction we're going. It's obviously. So basically, that's my spiel for right now. Like I said, I would love to hear from you. I really am I'll try to be more visible and more online, and try to put stuff out there more often. I've been, in non-duality, you just don't care. It's not a bad thing in the sense of I don't care because I don't love you. It's just people are going to choose what they want to choose. They're going to judge the way they want to judge. They're going to mock you, or they're going to make fun of you, and I don't care. I don't care to be in the light of the middle of it all, and being in the middle of it all, basically, because I know the truth, and yet at the same time, there's a compassion in me that I know it's time for me to speak, and it's time for me to share my spiel too. There's many of you that've been out here putting, your 2 cents in, and putting in your wisdom, and sharing your light, and we're pretty much all saying the same thing. It's just I don't want to become a broken record. I don't want to become something that, people don't respect, because what I have to say comes directly pretty much from source because of what I've gone through. And there's no sense in casting pearls before people that would walk on them. To me, it's disrespect to source, who's so precious to my heart. And so, of course, source is saying that okay, source basically is saying that he loves everybody, and it doesn't affect him, but it affects me, I guess, because of my servitude towards this energy force. But basically, I love each of you. I do. I give you space. If you get this, great. If you don't get it, then just let it go. I mean, I don't mean to trigger anybody. I know it could trigger a lot of you out there that aren't awake. So just click off. It's okay. There really is no right or wrong. It's just what it is it's an awakening. It's a change of consciousness. It's a rising of consciousness. It's the age of Aquarius. And so it's happening now. The planets are aligned. Everything is shifting. People can feel it all over. There's tons of information out there. People are in all kinds of avenues of this thing. It's big. It's huge. It's from the Egyptians to Atlantis to many other dimensions which really do exist. Because once you come to realize your spirit, you realize that this world isn't all there is. And so I'll speak about this on another one, but because it is something, is about our imagination and manifesting, of course. And many people want to manifest in this world, and it's fine, it's beautiful, but we can manifest much bigger things. And so, but yeah, manifest your job, manifest money, manifest good health, manifest, a house, manifest a car, manifest what you need, what your desires are, and believe. The main thing is don't waver, don't shake and waver. There's no magic about it. It's all in your mind. It's all in the way that, we think. And we weren't created to think that way. We were created to think we were unworthy and that we don't deserve this stuff, and we have to work hard in order to get this stuff. And if you don't work hard, then you shouldn't have it. And it's all a bunch of lies, basically. Everybody's worth having whatever you desire. And, no matter what dark hole you're in, you can climb out of it, and you can have a better life through love. Basically, build whatever you build it on love, and it'll last. Whatever you decide to do, let love be the basis of whatever you do, and it will last forever, I promise you. But if you build it on anything besides that, it'll crumble. It's just the way it is. It's the foundation of everlasting. So anyways, I want to get off here. Been on here for about 40 minutes. I hope everybody's doing well. Check my book out. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. And I am going to try to get it in some other languages. I'm trying to get it in Spanish, French, Russian, and Hebrew. So those are the four languages I'm looking to translate it in, and I've got it out there right now. Some guys looking at it. I might get it into some other languages too, depending on how wide of a range I can find, some translators. But anyways, and then send me an email at Bellaluna, BELLELUNA 369 at gmail.com. 369. Nicola's number. That's a whole nother expansion that I think we can go into and we can complete during this time of enlightenment. So there's so many good things ahead of us, so many beautiful things ahead of us for everybody. Everybody's included. There's nobody not included in this thing. It's only if you don't want to be included. And it even includes our government system. It includes the ones that are all confused and mixed up in their rules and regulations and wars and, stressing over budgets and stuff. It's all for you as well. If you can just get out of your programming, your old programming, and be free from it, you will be able to expand it into something beautiful as well. And like I said, the main foundation is love. If you don't build on love, it won't last. I don't care what you're doing; it'll crumble. That's the law of the universe. It's not my law. It's not my saying or doing. I'm basically just a voice. I'm plugged into Source, and it's in my book, so you need to read my book. Anyways, I love you all so much. I hope you're well. I speak blessings upon each and every one of you, your loved ones, and your situations. And I just breathe light into your life.